Welcome to my podcast. Today I'll be talking about draft advice for head-to-head leagues in fantasy hockey. I'll also be talking about players to pick up in fantasy football waiver wire, as well as the top 5 centers in NBA right now. Draft advice for head-to-head leagues in fantasy hockey. Drafting in fantasy hockey is quite easy if you know what you're doing. First thing you need to do is pre-rank your players. Pre-ranking your players does two things. It ranks the players you might want to draft, and it gives you a backup plan if you get disconnected. First pick is the most important player in the whole draft. I highly recommend drafting the best available forward in the first round. Depending on your draft position, I would either draft a star forward or an elite goalie in the second round. In the third round, I draft the best available forward in the pre-draft ranking. Fourth round, I draft a workhorse goalie. Fifth round, I will draft a center. 6th round, draft a defenseman. 7th round, draft a winger. 8th round, draft a defenseman. 9th round, draft a defenseman. In the 10th round, draft a goalie if you drafted a forward in the second round, or draft a goalie if you drafted a forward in the second round. In the 11th round, draft a center. 12th round, draft a winger. 14th round, draft a goalie. 15th round, draft a defenseman. In the 16th round, draft the best available player left on your pre-draft ranking. You don't have to follow these steps exactly, but the end goal is to have a well-balanced roster. The key to winning head-to-head leagues is to have good goalies and a well-balanced roster. Next week, I'll be talking about players to pick up in fantasy hockey. Fantasy football waiver wire players to pick up for week 5. Quarterback Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson broke out in week 4 throwing for 283 yards and 4 touchdown passes. He also had 1 rushing touchdown. He should be picked up in Dynasty or Keeper leagues. Running back, Bilal Powell. Bilal Powell totaled 25 fantasy points in week 4. With Matt Forte's status for week 5 uncertain, Powell should play a bigger role in the offense for the Jets. Running back, Ellington. With other Cardinals running backs proving to be ineffective, Ellington should get the chance to be the #1 running back. Wide receiver, Devin Funchess. Devin Funchess had 70 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns in week 4. He will continue to play a big part in the Panthers' offense with Greg Olsen out. Wide receiver Will Fuller. Will Fuller broke out in week 4 with 2 touchdowns. He looks to build upon this performance in week 5 against the Titans. Tight end Tyler Kroft. Tyler Kroft put up 18 fantasy points in week 4. If Tyler Eifert misses more time, he will be a huge part of the Bengals' offense. Defense, Buffalo Bills defense. The Buffalo Bills defense put up 14 fantasy points in week 4. They look to continue their strong play when they take the field against the Cincinnati Bengals in week 5. Kicker, Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott is the most added kicker in fantasy football. Next week, I will be talking about players to pick up for week 6. Top 5 centers in the NBA right now. 1. Demarcus Cousins. Demarcus Cousins is one of the best centers in the NBA right now. He's a center that can do it all offensively. Cousins is one of the toughest players to stop down low. Cousins averaged 27 points, 11.1 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.3 blocks per game last season. 2. Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns will eventually be the best center in the league. He is only 21 and will only continue to get better. Cat has all the tools to be a top 5 player in the league. Towns averaged 25.1 points, 12.2 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks per game last season. 3. Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert may already be the best defensive center in the league. If he can add to his offensive skill set, he can be a top center in the league. Gobert averaged 14.1 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks per game last season with a standout 23.4 PER. With the departure of Gordon Hayward, he will be the #1 option for the Jazz. 4. Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic just may be the best passing center in the league. After Denver started to run their offense through Jokic last season, they became the league's best offense. Jokic averaged 16.7 points, 9.7 rebounds, 4.9 assists per game last season with an outstanding 26.2 PER. 5. DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan is a center who knows his role and does it tremendously. He is a great rebounder, shot blocker, and can throw down tremendous dunks. DeAndre Jordan averaged 12.7 points, 13.8 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game last season, while putting up a fantastic 21.84 PER. Next week, I'll be talking about the top 5 shooting guards in the NBA right now. Next podcast, I'll be giving out fantasy hockey and fantasy football waiver wire advice, and I'll also be talking about the top 5 shooting guards in the NBA right now.